A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Bafana.
All about Fetu, this is Parker, yeah? Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this is a place where we talk football. A lot of local football, a lot of African football, and sometimes we go overseas, which we're going to be doing tomorrow since the EPL has kicked off. Today, we're going to be speaking about a very simple topic. Orlando Pirates kicked off their first preliminary round game match versus Disciples. Disciples, they had to play it in Mauritania because in Madagascar they don't have stadiums that are up to scratch. Orlando Pirates played a 0-0 draw with the Madagascan team, and they will be going back to Orlando Stadium, to finish that off. Guys, if you're joining me for the first time, this is a very interactive show, and I'm going to call on you guys to jump in, and we can then have conversations about what we saw in the game. I've got a couple of questions to ask, and what we were able to discern from Pirates' performance. Now, I know there wasn't a lot of access. I didn't do a watch-along because there wasn't a place to watch it. Luckily, the Mauritanian Football Association made it available on their Facebook page, and we were able to watch, from a phone, It looked like it was just a phone going live, which was great on their part, but we did manage to see Orlando Pirates, and hopefully when they come back for the second leg, they'll be in a better place, because there's still a history, yeah? There's still shades of tshwane, that might be scaring Orlando Pirates and might be scaring some of the fans and some of the people that we're watching. I see Uongale today in the comments saying that we've seen this movie before. My thoughts from what I was able to watch on that Facebook page, it is still there on the Facebook page. Just go to the Mauritanian football page, Football Association page, and you'll be able to watch that thing in full. But my takeaway, I worry about Pirates. And I worry about Pirates because it seems like they're falling victim to that thing that they normally do when they don't show up for important matches. I don't know if it's because they maybe nyatsa the competition, or maybe they're new to taking this competition as seriously as they should. And I'm talking about the Champions League, as in Pirates hasn't been in the Champions League for a while, right? I know they got to the CAF Confed final some years ago, but in terms of Champions League, and this is also a new way of qualifying where everybody has to qualify, these two preliminary rounds are going to be very important. But I worry about Pirates because it seems again that they can't get up if there's no occasion. They can't just, come against this team. It's a semi-pro league. Agent, you will correct me. It's a semi-pro league. They've come in, they've qualified Shem. They've gotten to the point. Pirates should have blow them away again, and get ready for your next preliminary round. If you look at Sundowns doesn't have to play the first one. They only play the second one. When you watch the game, the secondary thing that worries me about Orlando Pirates, if I'm being 100% honest, what happens when you have to play slow? What happens when you have to play ugly games? Guys, African football is not wall-to-wall, back-to-back action. It's not going back and forth and you have 10, 12 chances back and forth. You have 4 or 5 chances that you have to finish. And I don't know if Pirates can play that way. We know Pirates is a fast team. But what happens when the fast is not working? What happens when a Tshwane comes and makes it ugly and makes it slow? What happens when you get into the group stages and you play against teams that are not there to play? They are not there to attack. They are not there to do all of those things. They just want to come in and take some points. So the Champions League is a completely different beast for how Pirates normally functions. And one of the big things that I did say when we spoke about Orlando Pirates and Jose Rivero this season was that, guys, not only is the travel going to be an issue, not only is the more important games going to be an issue, not only is it going to be an issue that you have so many games to play in terms of cups, the league, the Champions League, all of those things, It's the difference in play. And can Jose master those type of things? It is early, I will say. I don't want to act as though I'm giving a verdict on Orlando Pirates. It is very early to say a lot of these things. But after seeing what happened with running last year, can you trust, as Sam was saying, mark my words, Pirates come back to Orlando Stadium due to the fact of the media. Will they be able to come and win that game? And if they do, can they then get their minds right in order to make sure that the following game, the following qualifying round, is the one where they can actually go out and, perform from minute one? So it is a 0-0. I think this team is going to take a lot of, this Disciples team is going to take a lot from this game. But let me open up, guys. Feel free to request. If you're watching me on YouTube, bottom of your screen. If you're watching me on YouTube, you have to join me live on TikTok right now. And then there'll be a button at the bottom of the screen that says multi-guest.
And then there'll be
Click on that button. I let you in, and let me hear what you guys have to say. That's what I want to talk about today. Kumo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Gishapo wena.
Man, Kimnati Kumo. We're watching Pirates trying to get to be the second team in the Champions League for us as South Africa. I don't know if you were able to watch the game, but what are your takeaways from the 0-0 draw that they played versus the Disciples?
Nage half a guy won a game. Mara, Horekena Melum, Kinako complain.
Oh.
Awa, like no complain because of Wangudra, Enkelerena, Sundowns, Rejalabu, Disciple, like Engel Sundowns, against Disciples or the Apostles, I get one Kalohang. Inge no like Engo Galadi MTN 80, finally, or Timmy e crea every advantage possible. One Kalohang again. And not only that, le cause of Motsepe are naga more hakazaga so kopolom pezaganyana Motsepe. No, it's fine. I'll even give you 50,000 rand at the group stages. Maratimi is still yapa. Where can we sakala? Kore, it's so embarrassing to see Parete a club from South Africa. It could represent our Mara guys. After a successful week, we are going Olympics thing. Would Ricasaba win, the Springboks win, the Proteas win, ever pirate, they all now a draw a lady part time. Now I'm watching YouTube how but they met for the first time after coming from factory, then they had to go play. Marathon said ya bora one and worst part they have I think it was a case of because of they undermined this team. Or Vela without a bongiless Tom help, apparently useless.
Allegedly.
The factuality.
The views expressed by those on the panel are not those of overthinking football or their host. Hey, Kumo, you're going to get me into trouble.
Okay, no, it's fine. I move on. Let me not digress. Because of it didn't make sense or okay, fine, they didn't lose, but this feels like they have lost as considering the opponent they were playing against. And the reason why I mention all those things that was Sundowns and MTN 8, what I'm trying to emphasize, you had no pressure, you're well rested. I don't know what flight type with effing just to get to again, not Mauritius because I get they had to change venue. So Mara to display such things and say you are number 2, one of the best league in South Africa. It's embarrassing for this. It's embarrassing for us as South Africans, yeah? Okay. They are stop never. It's like they're trying to compete. And we've mentioned this before. I not team spirit.
Wait, did you watch it, Kubo? Did you sleep now?
I see this star. They were exposed to Pebble, so they're coming back to Orlando Stadium. They think they're gonna come back. How can I hide?
Okay, I'm gonna come back, Kubo. Hey, Kubo. Sounds like someone watched it, but it's fine. Let me go to Junior. Junior, welcome to the show. How are you?
Bolo Chief, how are you?
I'm good. Junior, Did you manage to watch the game with Paris versus Mauritania? And if you haven't, or if you did, what are your thoughts about that game?
Firstly, can you hear me properly, Put?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Yes, I was able to watch the game. From the game itself, it was a bit disappointing from Pirates' point of view. I was expecting us to blow them away, honestly, because the team that we had, the starting lineup, I just literally assumed, we're going to blow these guys away. Shame. And no disrespect to them, no disrespect to them. Like, they defended very well. They defended very, very well, Shame. And, it wasn't a game in which, we knew that we're going to play on nice football. No, it was simple. Like, it was physical, it was aggressive. They were kicking players and, so it's not concerning. It's really not concerning. We have the second leg coming up in Orlando. If it wasn't Orlando, the media would have been on us. The media would have killed us. The media would have been killed us by now. But no, it's not concerning. Like you said, Buti, it's early days. It's early days. It's early days. So I'm not concerned at all. From a Pirates' point of view, I'm not concerned at all. I think we'll beat them in the second leg. I'm pretty sure we will. But yeah, first game, not the best game. I expected more, but on to the second leg.
How much pressure is on Pirates, Junior? How much pressure is on Pirates to, at the very least, make it into the Champions League this year? And how much pressure are they under before I ask another question?
Oh, there's massive pressure, massive pressure, Puti, massive pressure. Last season, I was ashamed. I'm not gonna lie, it was so disappointing when we didn't qualify for the Champions League. It was very disappointing. And this season it's the same thing. Like I remember I was on a show a couple of weeks ago, and you asked me, is there enough pressure to win the league? I'm like, of course, there's massive pressure to win the league. Sundowns has won the league for the last how many years now, and there's pressure for us to win the league, and now there's pressure on us to win the Champions League, to not qualify for the Champions League. I don't even want to think about it, because I know how much, Pirates fans, we want to do well in the Champions League. We want to show, Africa that we are one of the best teams in Africa. And, not qualifying for the Champions League, I think, would be disastrous. So I think there's massive pressure, Shane, massive pressure. They need to qualify for the Champions League, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Let me get into the... At least today I've got Paganeas, man. Let me go to Samu. Samu, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Yes, I can hear you perfectly, Samu. Samu, what are your thoughts about the game?
Firstly, I want to say, Guti, to Uprakumu, Guti, he needs to know the facts of saying Pirate is going to Africa and just throwing it the semi-professional side. First, also, Mamelodi Sundowns last season lost to Young Africa, and it was not on their turf. Because every time when a South African team comes to South Africa, when it's CAF, they know how to play because it's home ground advantage. But when they go outside by Africa, that's where they abadlala nokudlala. You can also see bafana mayidlala ye-Africa kunzima ukuthi badlale khona because they are playing in artificial. We as South Africans, and also me as an 18-year-old, I also know that in artificial you cannot play. We only play that's how we play, and that's how tactical Pirates are. That's how, if you watch the game, Brakumo, not Utinyak Tugori, that game, despite we didn't play it as our best and we had the strongest squad, it was a very tactical game. Rivero saw it in another way, and also that coach saw it in another way. That's how football is, and that's how it's transitioning. That's why I'm saying to you, Izodluli Pirates, but still, it's this impact Guti Sidlale saw. It's a build-up for a new challenge to the league, and that's what people are not seeing in the new Pirates. So that's what I can say.
So then, how much pressure is on Pirates? I mean, you've spoken about the league, that the league might be a priority right now. You've spoken about the Champions League, where there might be a bit of pressure for Paris to get into the group stages and possibly into the knockouts as well. Is there too much pressure for one season?
No, it's not. For Orlando Pirates, it's not. It is really not. For me, i-Pirates yazi ukuthi manje ama-expectation la khona ukuthi kumele swin i-MTN8, kumele swin i-Nedbank, because our past 2 seasons have been so phenomenal. So I cannot say, mina, as my point of view, singamjaho coach, because the minute simjaho coach, that sizofana njenge-Kaizer Chiefs. And sofana njenga ne-management ye-Kaizer Chiefs, singama-fan. Sofuna ukuxosha ucoach, singenisa omunye ucoach. Into ezinjalo, and we will not be happy as thina singamabhakaniya, but we are the happy people. So neke sijabule if sivumele siyayijaha process. So into engayishile.
Okay. Just for clarification, they didn't lose to Yanga. They lost to ES Tunis, Esperance. But you are correct in that, yeah. But anyway, let me go to Beli Lemtaga Baba. Welcome to the show. How are you? Sometimes abapagania angena late, man. But anyway,
we are talking to the real CAF champions, not the backdoor ones. The real one. We cannot be dictated by Kaizer Chiefs of Africa. Play 9 years consecutively. They've never won this thing. 9 years straight. So we cannot be dictated by Kaizer Chiefs. They go careful and come back and try and make themselves smarter here. No. I say, where's Ganjar?
I'm going to sit this one out because the team yambe angeni na ku top 8.
Abantu zozobatha bayibonanga imatch but babakhulu bancane kancane bayavela bayimoshile idatha yabo babukela ku YouTube. So
Velile uyibona njani le game mara wena?
No but ngibingelela abafowethu la ku panel la kuma comment namasandawana wami. Yeah, yabona khona ke sesishoda ngayo uXolani ngoba kube sekasiqalile nje mayiqale kanjeni.
That was on busy disciples.
Yeah, man, no. The game it was one of those games. Game, even though you can try, maybe you'll play it for 3 days, you'll never win it.
Yeah.
It was one of those dull games whereby you try everything, but you can see it's not coming, it's not going anywhere. And it's not a bad thing. It happened in football now and then, and especially if you are in Orlando Pirates, you are playing away, you are playing on an artificial turf, of which we know we are not used to it. Even even with Bafana, we struggle on artificial turf. It's shy Rwanda. Why was it Rwanda? What?
Rwanda, yeah.
Yes. So that's not a big deal. It was one of those games, 0-0. Good score. They will come on Friday. Pirates going to win that game because that game it has chances. Chances were there. It's just people they didn't convert them. That team defended very well. They came up with a plan. It was just not our day, and it's not a trace match. But TJI, I don't think they will survive this on Friday. There's no way they're going to get out of Orlando alive. This one, come Monday or that weekend, the same supporters, especially Lowlands and Joba Kulum, another story. Now one can back about Junior Khan.
Okay. Let me go to Malumekuto. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Mr. OT?
I'm Mankimnati Malumekuto. Malumekuto, game now with Disciples. How did you see it?
Firstly, I must say, smoking improvement, Mr. OT. Aguna echo. We are able to hear Bokuba Amanga clear. I can even say in HD.
Yeah.
Proper. It sounded Nandi, Mr. OT.
I can't take credit, Chem. TikTok upgraded, they updated, Chem.
Siyabonga. Award nominated journalist Mr. OT.
We got journalist. I want to some Kenya comedy, yeah.
And no, Mamela, your journalistic ability is able to emit the truth from someone within 2 minutes. Umqale wathi akayibukela ngegame but wamhlaba ngemibuzo waqina sekathi sale ngayetsang how khumo bathu lying on a public platform, an award nominated platform. Khumo siphathe kahle man. Sikhuluma award nominated here. Anyway, Mr. Uti, yes, when it comes to CAF, CAF takes time to integrate into, and the nature of the game can be very brutal. whether you dominate or not. You understand, which is why Pirates had to watch the group stages from the bench last season, or from the stands, because of how brutal that game can be. CAF, which is why Sundowns also had a coach begging, saying, 4 years. It can be very brutal. So if you remember, I don't know if people remember this, when Pirates was winning a treble back to back, we could not get a sniff into CAF. It was tough. We were even eliminated by a certain Botswana team. I just forgot the name. It wasn't Jordaan and it wasn't Rollers. It was red and white. I remember very well. And in that team that was eliminated, Gaborone United, yes. In that team that was eliminated by Gaborone United, we had the likes of Benny McCarthy, a UEFA Champions League winner. I think we had the likes of Collins Missouma, with the likes of your Fisomianis, if I recall very well. We had top quality players, Mr. OT. Yeah. So the game is also psychological to a certain degree, you understand, Mr. OT. How we shocked Ahly back in the day, and how Sundowns shocked the world back in the day, if I may, is a recurring phenomenon in CAF football. Teams like Jordaan come and shock. Teams like Disciples come and shock. So if you go there thinking you've just beaten Supersport 3-1, you'll have a problem, Mr. Uti. You'll have a younger. You'll be shocked, Uti. Ahly is scared of you, but the younger yaktichimisa gonna lie in your own backyard. And unfortunately for both South African teams, being Sundowns and Pirates, there's ample digital evidence of how they play. You understand? These teams, some of them we don't even have access, and sometimes I'm disappointed that we don't have investigators who can get footage for our team. Sometimes it looks like we are shocked on the day. Like, for example, if we're playing a certain Ahly, you will hear coaches speak of specific players in press conferences. But if you're not speaking of Aziz in your press conference, it means maybe, just maybe, you did not have enough to know and understand them, Mr. And same goes for your Pirates. It's like they get shocked on the day with Connie player Elinja. Yet we boast about technical directors, not technical technical analysis, what analysis, video analysis. This is the time where they should be earning their bucks. Excuse the pun, but this is the time they should be earning their bucks to show Witty. This is why I'm hired at Pirates, to help to alleviate the pressure of the coach. Which coach I'm gonna be surprised, Mr. OT, because best believe these guys already know who Tito is. They already know what Mfukeng has. They already know what Saleng has. Which is all come back with a stalemate like this, and I don't see them being able to compete with us here. Firstly, they play on artificial grass, and unlike Chwaneng had a big field, Mr. Oti, so I feel like Orlando will not shock them. Laba can be shocked by the size of Orlando, not in terms of current stand, but just the width of the pitch. It can come into play. They can be tired within 45 minutes, because if you know AstroTurf, I go deep. So your studs don't dig into the grass. Your studs remain on top. There's no effort to pull out your studs. So it's little effort to none when it comes to running. But it can be uncomfortable, of course, if you are used to natural grass. But much when you go to natural grass, you know if you've been for trials, bese kumele ngigijime la izabuya bakuvule nge2 round uvele ufele kuleyo 2 round. So I'm banking on the energy. And also, kudos to Orlando Pirates. I see some people trying to find excuses. No. We feel an extremely strong team. SBC played right back against Supersport in the latter stages of the game. So him playing in the back three, and SBC is a bafana defender. There is no way you can say the exclusion of Munyane for Usbis is a degrade or a downgrade in terms of personnel. There's no way. And Nunka as well, I think is more experienced than Utality Mbata. Might not be having a great time right now, going through a rough patch, but we feel that one of the most experienced teams Orlando Pirates can field. And unfortunately, came back with a stalemate.
Just very quickly, how much pressure is there pressure for Pirates to do well? Because I know as Pirates fans, usually you guys are not like hyper like everybody else, but there are rumblings about the league. There's people talking about the CAF Champions League, and the the CAF Champions League is a very tough competition, and the league also, it's a tall order. It has been a tall order for the past however many years, 7 years. How much pressure is under Pirates right now?
There'll always be pressure, Mr. OT, and there'll always be a lot of pressure. And Pirates is a team that boasts about CAF Champions League. I remember when we were eliminated by Tshwane, the entire stadium was distorted. You could feel. But like I said, I think if you recall very well, from the start of that game, I was like, I'm not feeling well for this game. So Champions League is something we cherish at Orlando Pirates, Mr. OT. So best believe there's pressure. However, just like Pep Guardiola was able to buy time at Man City, it's the other trophies. They work to your advantage. Pep Guardiola would win Carabao, would win the league. How do you fire someone like that? I know someone who looks up to Pep thought winning the league is enough. No, at least win more than one. So that not because was but how do you fire such a coach, Mr. Uchi? You understand? So I'm efforts at Jose Rivero. 4 trophies in 2 seasons alleviate the pressure somehow. It's there. It's tangible evidence. Objectively, Jose Rivero has done well. Has qualified for CAF back-to-back. Winning 4 is by no... let's not get it twisted, guys. I know some people try and dumb it down on some... 4 games, what. Then everyone will be winning the Champions League. Then everyone will be winning the Nedbank. Everyone would be winning the MTN8, which I must mention, I think in the last 4 editions, 3 of those have went to Orlando Pirates. It seems like everyone can win it. So Jose Rivera is under pressure, but how he's performed actually alleviates the pressure, if I may.
Okay. Agent, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
No, I'm good, Agent Pella. Rona, we are still in pre-season, we are still out of office, we are still chilling. Agent, how did you feel about Pirates' game versus Disciples?
No therapy for you guys, eh?
Not yet. There's a lot coming, but not yet.
Yeah, I think you guys have gotten over that, I think you are confusing Sundowns with Kaizer Chiefs, eh? And someone said you lost to Younger, but we are not there. I think this is why sometimes I always say to people that when we make football conversation, let's not let them be personal, let them be based on, as I would say, principles. Let's let them be based on what we see of the game, not necessarily who we see or if it's the club that we support or not, because the fact of the matter is, when is the first game or second game of the season, you're not getting your groove, I'll start with the positives before I go to the negatives. You're not getting a groove, it takes time, we're still touchy or not, it takes time, and when you're facing a team that has played 7 games, more than you guys, it's always bound to happen that there'll be a bit more fresh, a bit more crispy, a bit more, than you guys, despite the what is it called? The gap in quality, and then when you add mitigating circumstances like artificial pitch, some say it, you add mitigating circumstances such as, that every team there wants to prove a point. They want to be seen and they want to come to SA football, they want to be the next Ducks, So what way, because they know scouts really go to such leagues, what way can you market yourself as a player? You pitch up for such kind of games, So that's why the Nedbank has its own magic, because the players from ABC Motsepe can pitch up out of nowhere just to prove a point. Say, guys, I'm good enough, So when is that combination of things, then you're like, it's not a bad result, right? We look at it that way, and considering the missed efforts, and maybe the Paris players were overexcited in the sense that they thought there's a small team, because you would see Saleng shooting on target, shooting over the bar, doing fancy things instead of leading the ball and being relaxed, And Pirates did have a good number of chances, and the team, to be fair, had one good chance in the dying minutes, but Pirates had the better chances. They had the better goal scoring chances, and Hence, I believe, for me personally, they're going to win by a 10 score when they're in Orlando, because going back to the negatives now, this, unlike Janin, it's not a semi-pro team. It's an amateur team, you know. I think, you know, the winner gets what, 81,000 rands
Hey,
for the league.
how many dolly salaries is that?
You know, the top goal scorer has 5 goals, you know, and considering this team just started, what, 5 years, 6 years ago, you know, so we should be criticizing parents. You know, we should be saying, parents, you're supposed to be beating this team, and this way you assert your own dominance. This way you say, guys, I'm here in this competition to compete, you know, and rightfully so, that just in parents, you need to do better against this kind of team, you know. That's where some of us criticize them. Not that you can't draw in CAF or what, but we have to criticize them and say, guys, you have to do better because you're a better side, you know, considering all the other circumstances. I think that's where I balance the two for me. Yeah.
How much pressure is under Pirates this season, Agent? As somebody external to Pirates, how do you feel about the pressure that's on Jose and that team?
No, I think, you know, I think Pirates, if they were, what is it called? They were serious, for lack of a better word, if they were serious about CAF, I think they stand a better chance of winning CAF because they play typical CAF football. They're a good tournament team. If they can get to the group stages, they might surprise a lot of teams, you know, because in terms of one off or two off games, they're a very deadly side, you know, and with a team like Sundowns, we always want to be dominant, whether away or home. One of them happy to just sit back and absorb pressure and hit you on the counter attack. You know, that's what makes them a CAF kind of team. They're in the Ahly mode, not in terms of quality or pedigree or anything, but in terms of play, they're willing to, as a big team, to sit back and play a low block and hit you on the counter. You know, that's what makes them a CAF team. But in terms of pressure, I think they're not yet at a point where I can say that there should be pressure on Jose to win CAF. There should be pressure on Jose to win the league. I think the league is where there should be pressure. But I think, again, if Jose wins a cup or two again, there's no pressure again. You know, he lifts it off. Like you're saying, he buys himself time. Even if he wins one cup, he still has a lot of trade in the bank. I think, for me, in this season or next season, Paris definitely have to win the league. I won't say definitely have to win the Champions League. I think this is where Sundowns are. We're saying, Mangoba, we're at a stage where this season or next, you have to win it or you're out, even if you win the league, you know? So I think Pirates, for me, they shouldn't be that kind of pressure, to be honest. I think the pressure should be, let's see progress, let's go to group stages, and then let's win the league and, you know, win a cup. And I think that should be good enough, you know, for a team like Pirates, yeah.
Let me go to Prasipo. Prasipo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Evening OT and evening to the guys.
Prasipo,
yes, OT.
Pirates.
Yeah, OT, I didn't get a chance to watch the match, but looking at the result, I was really disappointed. Especially because Pirates was playing an amateur team.
Yeah.
Although it's in Africa, we must accept the banter from Sundowns fans because these days they become our rivals. Wait. Just pardon for my daughter there.
Hello, Utsi.
Yeah,
hello.
So yeah, I'm really bad. Then I think Pirates will win in the second leg and comfortably so. Because most of our players, when they play a weak opposition, they just tend to relax. But then now it's second leg, they know it's now or never. They are gonna win the match. I mean, it's too early for Sundowns fans to celebrate Pirates loses or draws. Just too early. Second game of the season. Yeah, we just have to look at that. And even if the coach played the seaside of Pirates, those who haven't been playing, Pirates could have won that match easily. So let's just be patient with the team. And I think Disciples, just like it's like a church name. I thought it was a church name, but it's a football. It's a football name. But then, OT, truly speaking, I thought we were going to win 6 or 7 on the weekend. Then when I saw 0-0, I was disappointed from a Pirates fan of view. I haven't watched the match, but I'm disappointed that we couldn't beat the team. But then there are many factors like the turf playing part and stuff, the pitch and everything. Maybe, yeah, we'll see on Orlando on Friday how we play against them. I just hope they don't do a joining Galaxy to us.
Aye, man, give first round.
Yes, Oti.
Prasipo, how much pressure is your team under this season?
No, the coach is under pressure. Remember last season, there were times where the results were not going his way. I think there was a speaker who spoke about him winning the 2 trophies, Nedbank and M108, sort of buy him some time. As a Pirates fan, I don't want to lie, OT. I'm not yet convinced of his quality, whether people say what. Because when he came to Pirates, where have you worked and what has he won before? His CV didn't look impressive, just to speak the things. And then sometimes, I don't know, because you know, Chiefs and Pirates, there are a lot of politics with the lineups and the squad and this and that. But yeah, I really think there was a time, I think from November to December, coming to January, where we were playing, where we were losing game, and it seemed like he was now under pressure to perform. So I think winning those two matches and coming number 2, for me it was not a progress for Pirates, because the season before we were number 2, we won M108, won Nedbank Cup. The following season we did the same thing. So you can't call it an improvement. So maybe this season is under pressure because he has to challenge Sundowns for the league. Let's forget Africa for a while, because he doesn't have experience in coaching in African football. Last season it showed that when we lost against Jordaan Galaxy. So I still think he needs experience in African football.
Before
majority, yes.
No, go on, President.
I was talking about the majority of our players. Yes, the majority of our players, the likes Awonda and the others, they managed to play in the CAF, but not many of them. Remember, it's almost a little bit of a new squad. So the experience is gonna count. We might be thinking Pirates is gonna compete. Yes, in the PSL, Pirates is gonna compete. That one I'm sure of. But Africa is going to have its shortcomings, especially with the players and the experience of the coach as well. I thought maybe last season we were going to go far, yes.
I'm going to just jump in because I want to do the second round and ask you guys. There's a question I want to ask you guys on that. What I wanted to say from my end is I think I enjoy Pirates fans because if we talk about realistic, I think they're probably the more realistic ones. But when we hear some of the things, guys, the jump from going out in a second preliminary round to winning the Champions League is a huge jump. The jump from coming second in the league by 23 points to winning a league is a huge jump. And I think you can't do everything in a season. When we've seen, for example, Coach Rulani, even him, you know, they would have told him that we don't necessarily care about the MTN8 and all those other things. Yes, it would be nice to win them, but we understand that there's a big trophy up there. And if you play hard for all of the games that you're going to have, it's going to be an issue. So when we speak about Jose, it's interesting from that point of view, but also realistically, it's his 3rd season at Orlando Pirates. If we're being honest, it's his 3rd season. I think the expectations would be a lot higher on him going into his 3rd season, even with the double-double. The double-double is great, don't get me wrong. But what do you expect from a coach in the 3rd season, right? And can he go and win the league? Can he go and do well in the Champions League? What happens if he does well in the league, doesn't win it, does well in the Champions League, let's say gets to the quarterfinals, right? Let's say, and loses, but then has no other trophies. What happens then? I think Coach Rivero's in a very interesting spot. Kumo, I've got two questions for you here. Are we underestimating CAF? I mean, are we looking at it and going, Mamelodi Sundowns does so well in the CAF Champions League, or relatively well to get to the semi-finals and all of those type of things, and we believe that the rest of South African football is on par, therefore they should be winning these games. Are we making a mistake with underestimating CAF? And then number two, how much will experience play into this? Mamelodi Sundowns has years in the tank of competing in this year competition. How long will Pirates take? Do you think it will be something quick? How much will that play into this season in the Champions League for them?
OT, what's so funny? Like there's like hardcore Pirates fans, ne? And you ask them a question, it's simple, or uti samolo are, how did you find the game? No kilometer ka 95, star savona, backdoor, what. Then there was this other guy who actually complained and said, we on par with Sundowns, ne? And we actually, a shock factor, Sundowns was like disciples shocking Ahly. Then Afika are pirate that didn't have video analysis, but it didn't matter, or matter, if you know what I mean. If you know, it didn't matter when they were plummeting some team.
What
does that matter?
Oh, what? It didn't matter when they were plummeting some team going to a spray the Nedbank Cup. That team didn't have their video analysis. But my point is that Sundowns, we always get trolled for not winning CAF. They're calling us never, almost. To get to last 8, they're competing against the best of the best. And we were like, we are never outplayed, but it's either we score too late or we score a lot of goals at home, but also conceding a lot of goals. Then that's how we always lose, by silly mistakes. So Sundowns, honestly, it's not easy to win CAF, and we make it so easy. You think you guys compete. The only team SLA by playing, without any CAF, I think strategy. Hence why Chiefs was able to actually win, because they didn't have any coaching. They were in between coaches, and by without any expectations. Hence why they reached all the way to the final. And a CAF is ruthless. Imagine fielding your strongest team to be outplayed, to draw, lead team part-timers. It's embarrassing. So maybe this games, especially even last season, can show people and start actually appreciating what Sundowns does for CAF. And my guy, you can have all the experience that you want, but every day get a new challenge. Especially now that Sundowns to this trend of importing South Americans. As you for your youngers are starting to do it, So you can say experience here, every year, bruh. The game ya change. Core experience that you need, ne? I think it's the players, ne? I know I'm gonna contradict myself, but here and trying to listen to my point. Yes, experience help, but like when as a coach, you need to be versatile, you need to adapt, you need to have a squad, and you also need to have a shock factor because of, especially with the new rules that the away goals coming into effect in the near future. Core advantage Al-Ahly. Now they have to go and attack, and now it's gonna force them to go play into Sundowns' hands. Do you get my point again? But yeah, now guys, next time when you wanna discuss Mekai, which is your team Pirate, please do not compare to Sundowns, because every situation it's never the same as Sundowns. In fact, you're making your team look worse off. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Kubo. Let me go to Junior. Junior, Two questions. Are we underestimating CAF? Because I get the sense that, you know, there's an expectation maybe or a belief that Pirates can do very well in CAF. You know, can you know, first season in after a while be able to just lock in and go, not all the way, but get pretty far. Are we underestimating what CAF is? And maybe more fishermen bar that people are speaking about, that is the thing about CAF, that, you know, if you are struggling versus these fishermen, you still have to go face Bo Al Ahly, for example. I'm not saying...
Fishermen.
No, I get I'm seeing people saying fishermen playing against trade unionists.
I can walk.
If you're struggling against those type of teams, are we underestimating CAF, number one? And then number two, how much will experience play into this? Like I said, yes, Pirates is a very big team in the history of CAF. Yes, they've got a trophy. Yes, they've done Confed and all of that stuff. But the Champions League might be a little bit of a different beast or recently, or not having recent experience. How much is that going to play into this?
I put it, fishermen got
I saw it in the comments. That's why there's a perception of them being fishermen.
But to answer your first question, Buti, are we underestimating CAF? No, I don't think we are underestimating CAF. I think CAF as a whole has been a competition that, you know, everyone has known about. You know, when Chiefs were there, when Pirates were there, when Sundowns were there, you know, even Supersport, when they win the Confederations Cup, you know, even TS Galaxy, not TS Galaxy, Marumo Gallants, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so we do have players we do have teams that have been into CAF, and, you know, they've played against the best players, the best teams, you know, in Africa. So for us Pirates fans to say we're underestimating CAF, I don't think so. You know, we have a quality squad, quality. It's the first time that I've actually not complained about a squad, you know. You're like sort of Mofokeng, Maswangani, Mabasa, you know, just the total quality of the team. And for me, you know, it should be enough, you know, for us to getting into the group stages, you know, shouldn't be a struggle. Hence, I was very disappointed when we didn't make the group stages last season. You know, I was extremely disappointed. And I watched the game last year. And it was my first time ever going to Orlando Stadium last year, just to go see the team qualify. So it was very disappointing, shame. The stadium was so distraught, shame. So underestimating CAF, you know, I don't think we are, because I think we, as a quality team, we have a quality team to qualify. To answer your second question, Buti, will experience be... Of course, you know, not a lot of these players have ever played CAF before. If we think about it, you know, I can't name a single player who's played CAF. I can't think of a single player who's played CAF now. The only experience they have is last season when we got knocked out of the preliminary round. You know, so I think experience, you know, will come into factor, because we've been challenging Sundowns for the league. Well, not for the league, but we've been challenging to finish second, you know, because it feels like now it's the Bundesliga 2.0. So, you know, but this season, you know, experience will be very, very important in terms of the key players, you know. I'm solely looking forward to the team, you know, testing ourselves, because I'm not going to lie, playing against fishermen, I'm not concerned, but you know, those it's one of those games where it's just an off day, you know, just an off day. I watched the game, you know, it just looked like these guys are just here to defend. Yeah, they had chances, but they're just here to defend. You know. So I'm not gonna lie there. It is important. It is important to have experience. So, but for us, we're not underestimating CAF. We're not underestimating CAF. I think it's just the quality of the teams that are just, you know, we take it so lightly, because, you know, some teams up in South Africa will say no, they're not used to our football, they're not used to the way we play, so they're not going to be able to. When we play in Africa, when we're playing in Africa, they'll show you, Puti, Baba, we know football. You don't think we know football? We know football. So shame. That's okay. As far as I'm concerned, Puti. That's as a Pirates perspective, Puti.
Two questions. Yeah, and I'm not speaking about Pirates fans here. And Kulbanje about South Africans. Do we have an underestimating Uti CAF in terms of how hard it is or how much effort you have to put in? And Sbugala bo fishermen, and we say, "Hey man, bo fishermen, you should be winning 6-7-0." And maybe it's a lot harder. Number one, and then number two, experience a CAF. How much will this play into the year that Pirates has in the Champions League?
Hayi ngaqala nje ngisho asikwazi ukuthi konke singathula without closing the ranks. If we are under attack, there's no way we're gonna keep quiet. Angeke sizwe ngabanye abantu who want to dictate to us how much we grieve our loss or draw. And I won't go to the issue of cool experience and certain things because fact speaks here. The last team to play CAF final from South Africa was Kaizer Chiefs. Was Ungobo, who was playing in the middle field, had an experience. Mashiane did have an experience at CAF. Have you played CAF before? Ungobo Lodlale mover from Sundowns said he had CAF experience before. So this thing of CAF experience would have played there for 10 or 8 years over exaggerated. Certain teams have played there for 10 years, they've never won it. So they cannot come and play to us and say, oh, this is so important CAF experience. There's nothing like that. It's up to you how do you prepare for that tournament. In order to take it, you prepare for Lopunjan, the league, and the knockout. So if you are not even if you don't know how to play it for knockout, that's why you'll end up even not winning the local knockout because you don't know how to play for it. Those are not like the league games. So it's kind of must be realistic when we're talking. So there's nothing special about the CAF. Because if
Chiefs at the time, we didn't have any other trophies. We were playing for number 8, number 10. We're in a transfer ban. We had to. No, I'm saying Gavin Hunt in that situation. I believe in one of the interviews he gave, he said that he chose to focus on CAF. When you look at the Pirates, I mean,
with which players?
No, with those players. No, that's not what I'm disputing. The experience I'm talking about is more to do with having to juggle all of those things all at the same time because, you want to do well in the league. You want to do well, CAF. You probably want to do well, Gulama Cup. And if you look at the Sundowns, for example, they win the league, they win the AFL. Everything else might fall apart later on. And they're the ones who have quote-unquote experience of doing it every single year. How much will that play into it? Like, Uguti, in bumming up, how do you balance all of that, if that makes sense?
No. That's why we'd love to over-exaggerate certain things. I mean, if I'm saying CAF is not so over-exaggerated according to my own perspective, how many games do you play if you're in a group stage? You play 6 games. And then from there you play quarter-final. Semi-final is final. How many games in total? 10.
Yeah, that's a lot of games, Maravili.
How many games do you play?
It's the 6, and then it's to get to the final. It's 6, 8, 10.
2 after.
Yeah, it's like 12 games. That's a lot of games.
No, but we cannot make it as if something else is holding and down in another tournament. As if other teams, the people that are talking, as if they've dominated it. They've never.
That's why the issue.
Chiefs played finals before Chiefs. Pirate plays Confederation Cup and final. Ngokojatisa. Team Clark came in and play Confederation Cup. Yes, I'm head. So people cannot come and attack us here and say we cannot as winning league, but as if when they're doing something good carefully. By praise. They're not doing anything there. I will talk with them once they win. Then I will say, okay, now at least you are dominating on the field whereby you are claiming you compete there. Then I will say yes. But as long as you have been won it, so you are still the same as me. So calm down, Masanda one. We're on the same level now. And there's nothing that we have achieved yet, Alexan. So we can that's the telera like what go to get down. Like abadlala nakufina and the last 12 years abadlala nakufina. Asikwazi ukubayeka wait. Yeah. So coming to a game of as I've said, if Pirates have got good squad, it's just a matter of planning for different games. That's as Abudu Kuji have said on this one. Maybe the other team had an intel on us and the concern that I've raised before. But this games are so tricky because at sometimes some Amanyawa you don't know what you can expect when we are playing against them. And the yes, they've got intel of us. If you want to watch any game Pirates have played for the last season, you've got an access to it. The archives are there. You can watch it. So and another say South Africa we do take it serious this tournament. But at sometimes there was this mentality before. Margin is better because at least there's money. But remember before there wasn't that incentive of playing those games. Especially if you're going to start going preliminary round and spend so much money and get knocked out before even group stages. You end up like losing than even not getting. That's why you told the team as I had a serious even before they just playing.
We were even banned because we said we're not going there.
And the good thing man get to pay no man buya no banga nivumela nganisana ama player you came in and compete na fact final nadlula abanye abantu abakhuluma kakhulu la angithi so kumele sikuvumele into ezinhle mazenzeke singabhizi sivika ngesithupha hayi kabi oh ngeke sihlelo njalo kuyimandi ngeke no is no way ngeke sibavumele ngeke sizodibhina kahle namhlanje bayatheka namhlanje siphezulu kwabo asijiki.
Okay. Itikfake ubuntolana tech team partner.
Mr. OT.
I've got two questions. And this is not necessarily for like Pirates fans. Are we underestimating CAF as South Africans to think that automatically, man, we are so good? Even when we speak about Sundowns, we feel as though automatically we should be winning these things. Do we underestimate this tournament, number one? And then number two, how much will experience play into this? And maybe I can add not just experience, but the type of season Pirates is going to have. How much does that play into all of this? I know you answered some of it.
Not only do we underestimate CAF, but we also somehow seem to overestimate our achievements in CAF. Someone just said we should respect what Sundowns has been doing in CAF. What have they been doing, Konja? Don't you win any Sundowns in the last, 9 years with CAF that needs to be respected? I mean, Chiefs has achieved better. Shouldn't I be respecting Chiefs rather? If we're talking about feats that can be achieved by Sundowns and all other PSL teams besides Chiefs. So what are we respecting? Man, Kuma must behave. Sundowns fans must behave. They must know that they're a small team and they will forever remain a small team. All 57 of them must know that they are supporting a small team. The staff at Sundowns is more than the supporters. Sometimes I see those grandstands, I'm thinking, those people there are Sundowns technical team. And then, speaking to your experience, Mr. OT, so what, Sipo? Consistent, so what? Consistent in failing. No, I'm just telling Sipo here. He's telling me sometimes it's consistent. They are consistent in failing. But anyway, speaking of experience, it depends how you look at it, Mr. Uti. One can say Pirates is equally experienced. When you look at the likes of Kabelo Dlamini, when you look at the likes of Bandile Shandu, Innocent Mayela, when you look at the likes of Kana Kimbango, I'm just trying to think of another one, Dion Hoto. These are guys who've actually played in the CAF final, just so you know. Recently, in as much as we speak about Chiefs playing in the CAF Champions League final, but Pirates played in the CAF final using a lot of these players. You understand, Mr. Uti. Dlamini was there, playing in a CAF final. Shandu was there, Hoto was there, Mayela was there. As my wife is calling, Akakata Mus OT.
It's fine. No, Awakata.
All right. So, as I'm saying, Mr. OT, with Lama player Lankan Wabalayo can assist, unless if you want playing experience. But then again, when Sundowns won it through the back door, who did they have who had played CAF Champions League before? You understand? They didn't really have anyone. Apart from a player they might have signed from Pirates. I'm just forgetting who, but I'm sure if I dig deep, I'll find someone who was from Pirates. You understand, Mr. Uti? When Pirates went to the finals as well, of all three, I'm talking about, the other one we can say they had the experience of those who had gone to Ghana game, the CAF Champions League final when they went to the Confed final. But when they went to the CAF Champions League final, who did they have? No one. You understand? They just went there, applied themselves tactically, and understood. They had been humbled previously. Yeah, and they had been humbled previously and understood which, okay, you have to apply yourself fully. And like I'm saying, what I take home is with what agent has said in terms of Ghana King. Someone just said something young this time. With what agent has just said, with the if Pirates is literally just off preseason, the car is very cold. That I take, but also what I'm proud of in terms of Pirates tactical team or technical team is that they've fielded a strong lineup, showing what they've learned from Ghana game, their mistakes against each one. And we've been able to secure a draw. We should have beaten this team, Mr. OT. I repeat, we should have beaten this team. But like I say, Mr. OT, what informs us with the team is not good enough.
That's what I want to know. That's why I'm asking this question.
Which the team is subpar. And you know, Jose Rivero, I want to caution the people when he said, imagine people are calling him a plumber. Imagine if someone called a black person a garden boy. Would we not be claiming racism? Now, to call these people fishermen, when you don't even know what the captain does from day to day, I think we are treading on thin ice here. We can easily be accused of racism. So maybe as a joke, fishermen, man, I party you understand? So what informs us to say these guys are not good footballers? When Cape Verde dominates us, we think only to find out that Cape Verde is using players in Spain. I'm talking about back in the day when Cape Verde beat us. When Zambia beat Bafana Aaron Mokwena. Only to find out those players would all become great. Abo Mayuka, Abo Katongo, Abo Collins Mbesuma. You understand that, Mr. OT? So all I'm saying is sometimes we are misinformed. We think because we are so exposed to EPSL, we think our players are the best. Only to find out with someone out there is far better than you. Or just like Sundowns is going through, someone might be at their hands might be having a golden generation.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is something that we have to take into account. But by the way, the one that eliminated Pirates, I think also went on to beat Wydad Casablanca. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So let's really think about it and say, is this team bad for? I mean, is Pirates bad for losing to each one, or was Chwaneng having a good run? Is this team, is the Pirates team bad for drawing with these guys, or are these guys having equal generation at that? I mean, they've won the league. Isn't that what happens when you qualify for a Champions League? How does one qualify for a Champions League?
You have to win or come second, I think, but it's mostly win for the smaller leagues.
If you're not from Egypt, if you're not from South Africa, you definitely won that league. So the fact that they're here tells you they've won the league. I'm resting up, Mr. Utsi.
And that's why I wanted to ask about, that's why I framed it as the fisherman, because again, do we take it for granted? Agent, same two questions. Do we underestimate CAF? Do we look at it and say, Sundowns goes far in this competition? Surely the second best team in the league has to go far in this competition, and we overlook how hard maybe this competition is, number one. And then number two, experience. And maybe it's not on the field experience, but it's, landing on Sunday and playing on Tuesday. Balancing a team. How do you rotate properly? We spoke about Rulani sometimes having some blips with that type of thing. How much does that play into this?
I think I would say the other way around for me. I think maybe we are underestimating what Sundowns is doing. Because we make it look that it is easy for a team to get to the group stages and get out of the group stages. Yes, get out of quarterfinals and semifinals and whatever, and we would never. There's a saying that a pastor or a prophet doesn't have glory in his homeland, you would never appreciate your sister. If your sister is a celebrity, to you he's just your sister. He's not a celebrity. He's a celebrity out there, but to you he's just a sister. So for me, I think it's not that. Maybe yes, we are underestimating Sundown. I mean, CAF, but we're underestimating through underestimating Sundowns and what it is able to do. And because we have that familiarity that man, I can beat Sundowns. Pirates, I always beat Sundowns on cup, so I can do it also. Maruma Gallant or Chiefs Ahmad. This team I can beat it. So. It's just that familiarity that we have, I think, for me, more than anything. That's why I think, yes, you are right in the sense that we underestimate CAF, but it's not that we underestimate the competition itself, but it's just that we underestimate what Sundowns is doing. And secondly, I think, to Abutikuto's point, we are not exposed, even I myself, I personally who thinks that I watch a lot of football, we're not exposed to a lot of African football, I don't think there's anyone who can tell me that he watches a lot of Botswana football, a lot of Zambian football, a lot of Egypt football or whatever, So, when you are running alone, you think you are the best until you get to see there's people like Noah Lyles out there, He's like the warhorse out there, So, maybe it's because we see a lot of PSL and we think we are the best. That's why Kuto mentioned Cape Verde situation, that just because we think we are the best and I don't know what Cape Verde, what is Cape Verde known for? So I think is that case. Now to the experience part, I think that's why sometimes I say sometimes conversations get lost in personalities and in personalizing things, Your question is valid, that let me give you a simple start start with. Ever since 2000, there's only been 5 times that non-Northern African teams have won the league. I mean, the CAF Champions League 5 times, which means 21 times ever since 2000, the North Africans have won the Champions League. So we can't say that Sundowns is failing because yes, they might have experience, but there's people out there who have more experience than them, You might have 10 years experience, but there's someone in your workplace that has 10 more years experience than you, So I think experience plays an important role. There's a reason why it's always the same teams. Yes, there's going to be upsets, Janim beating
with that
Pirates, Sundowns losing to Petro Luanda, but at the end of the day, they don't go far. It's always going to be the same teams that are going to win eventually the Champions League. It just so happens. And even internationally, you look at Champions League, I think Porto is the last team to ever, out of the main so-called big teams or big leagues, to win the league. Even PSG, with all the expenditures, with everything in it, they still haven't won it. So experience matters a lot, And again, experience is not just literally like you're saying on the football pitch. It's about, you're going to be playing on an artificial pitch, What teams really do, as Sundowns, like I said, they've gained experience on how you do. You go 2 weeks early and play your whatevers, or you go a week early and play on an artificial pitch. You have seen Sundowns going here with his own food stuff, and we have learned from teams like Paris, to be fair, that they can get poisoned. So you go with your own food stuff. So it's not just football things that we look at. It's also the logistics of it, the eating part of it, the training. Sometimes you get there and teams provide you a work bus, and then what you need to do is you need to have Sundowns have mastered to get its own buses, everything like that, And before Abutuku asked me a question, there's always what you call first time. When it's a first time, you are an unknown quantity. There's a reason why Sundowns won the league in 2016. We're an unknown quantity. Not everyone give us a chance, right? And we won it. Chiefs, same thing. But has Sundowns, even with Pitso, have they been able to do it, ever since then? You can be lucky first time. I think that was Chiefs' first and only time they should have won the Champions League at that time. I think that was that perfect opportunity. It's going to be a struggle for them because they're not going to be an unknown quantity ever again. You know, your question quickly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, guys, very quickly, Mara.
Oh, no, I've already asked. Sorry, if we talking off the field experiences, can that not be accounted for in CAF Confederations Cup? The travels, the hotel bookings, pitch inspections. Why would you not get that from Confed? I get the playing aspect. We could argue, which is very thin in Africa. Sorry, OT, which is very thin in Africa in terms of Ahly, the quality. These teams play both tournaments, but off the field, if we're talking logistics, can you not get that? Do you not travel to North Africa like you would in CAF in Champions League as you would in?
Yeah, you're taking my time, all of my time now.
I'm sorry,
guys.
Sorry.
Okay,
guys.
no, but to answer the question, like I said, there's a reason why that if you recall well, I stand to be corrected. I think Esperance won the Confed Cup, I think, last season or the season before, you know. So you can get it through the Confed Cup, but how many times have Pirates been in the Confed Cup? You know, how many times? Like I'm saying, it has to be a consistent thing. You have to keep knocking on the door. But like I said, the main distinction between Pirates and Sundowns, the reason why I believe if Pirates is there at least for 4 or 5 years, consistently knocking, they'll eventually get a shorter time period than Sundowns is. With Sundowns, it's our style of play. Pirates plays a CAF Champions League kind of style of play. We play a league kind of style of play. You know, so maybe that's where I feel like Pirates can get Champions League before us if they're more consistent in the competition. Yeah.
Okay, let me go to Prasipo. Prasipo, I've got the same 2 questions for you. Are we underestimating CAF Champions League, maybe even as South Africans, as to, man, actually, we've only ever won it twice in the history of CAF Champions League as South Africa. Maybe underestimating how hard it is to go win that, and then also how much, man, will experience play into this? And I'm talking about experience, games back to back. Sundowns at some point was playing every 3 days for months in a row. How do those things play into it?
Yeah, OT, we are underestimating it. To play CAF, it's tough. It's a continental championship. You travel to North Africa, and it's not easy. Don't you think if it was easy, Sundowns would not have won it like they're dominating PSN? So it's not easy. And you know, just like any continental cup, we have those who are always there, who will always be in the top 4, who's always going to be in the top 8. And for you to unseat those clubs, you need to work. That's why I'll always say experience will play a part, because the more you play a competition, the more you get used to the traveling, to how the players will acclimatize to different weathers. We just spoke about artificial pitches. Pirates was playing in artificial pitch. So, you know, even when you go somewhere up in Africa, East Africa, you play in artificial pitches. So experience plays a very vital in winning. That is why we tend to have a surprise team in one season, something like that. Just look at a Yanga and Tanzania league as it done. They are now taking the Champions League very serious.
Yeah.
They're investing, buying players from other countries. So we're underestimating a very tough competition. It's not easy to play in the CAF Champions League. Not easy. And that is why coaches get fired in North Africa, mainly because they are used to being part of that competition. If you are coaching in Morocco, you are coaching Wydad, you are in Tunisia coaching Esperance, Egypt, and you are coaching Al Ahly, Zamalek, they expect you to be in the last 8 or last 4 of the Champions League, if not winning it. So it's not an easy tournament to understand. That is why it's very tough tournament, because it qualifies you to go play the Club World Cup. So that you can test yourself. So you can't say you don't need experience to play in such a tournament. You need experience. Like you spoke about the traveling, sometimes you travel to UAE, go back to Africa, such logistics. It's tough. You can ask any owner or any team manager of the bigger clubs that have traveled in Africa, they will tell you that you need experience. And as you said, to play games in every 3 days like that, my team Pirates will have to acclimatize. I don't know if they will cope playing in all the competitions. Because Sundowns has got a big squad. That's why they were able to play in those competitions. Although Sundowns were just unlucky. I know the banter, I'm a Pirates fan. I sometimes just don't take it personally. You see, because we have just drawn, they are just going to say it. But Sundowns have been unfortunate, 2 times semi-finalist. They were just unlucky. They could have at least gone to the final. But that's football. You saw Sundowns beating Ahly the other day 5-0. It's not easy. You go in Africa, so OT, I think it's more of experience. You need experience to be able to participate in that competition, and not a one season experience. Not a one season, unless like agent said, when you go there, maybe as an unknown quantity, you might surprise them, reach the final or reach the semi-final because you're an unknown quantity. But the big dogs of the CAF Champions League will always be there. That's something people should just take note. They'll always be there. But don't underestimate that tournament. It's very tough. Very tough. And to my Pirates brothers there, guys, don't take it personally. Don't take the likes of Kumo to heart and stuff. They are just saying it because we drew against Disciples. And then we have called many teams names. So it's just football. They're just going to say those are fishermen, those are what. Those things are there. People will just give those people names. Because sometimes you play a team from Seychelles, they tell you that they are semi-professionals. They are doctors, they are teachers. So it's not a racist as such. Just that in Africa, that's how we normally call them, because they are semi-professional. So it was a law for Pirates not to beat a team that is not in the same professional level as Pirates it is, because there they don't have tough leagues. We can measure their league with our SAB league here. Yes, yeah. So
okay, Brasipo. I'm gonna come back one more time. I just wanted to say, guys, the point of the conversation we're having now is not to say that Pirates will lose or they're doing all that stuff. I just want to have a realistic conversation about expectations and maybe sometimes how we view things, right? And how that plays into how we attack these competitions, you know? Some people might say that, for example, Kaizer Chiefs was very lucky to get to the final. Hey, you could say that it's true, but then you have on the other side a coach that said, nah, look, man, I had a choice between the league and I had a choice between the league and the Champions League. And I saw which the Champions League is slower and what. So I orientated my team towards that. And we did very well in the Champions League. So maybe it also comes down to those things, and we're underestimating some of the things that we're speaking about. The last thing that I want to ask, possibly for tonight, looking at the time, the last thing that I want to ask, or I want to go to, I've always said, guys, for me, Orlando Pirates is the most dangerous team in the league. Of all the teams that I'm scared of in the league, I am more scared of Orlando Pirates because on any given day, Orlando Pirates could give you 4 goals. Orlando Pirates could score 5, King 7 even. I think Golden Arrow 7. King Scotini will be rocking, all of that stuff. The only problem with Pirates is consistency. And I want us to look now internally. The 2 questions I'm going to ask are internal questions about Pirates itself. Because Pirates is not losing the league because they don't have quality. Pirates is not doing those things because, you know, Pirates is such a bad team, right? Pirates is an incredible team that goes through ups and downs. I also call them emotional. And I say if the game doesn't have stakes, they tend to play towards their opponent. And they say, yeah, we're playing on a Tuesday versus Kukune. It's not an important game. They might lose that game. We're playing Cape Town Spurs on a random Wednesday. We might lose that game. Mara, if you give me a derby, if you give me a game versus Sundowns, if you give me the cup, man, you see a different Pirates. Is that going to play into all of this, and can Pirates fix it? Let me start with Junior. Junior, 2 questions. How does Pirates find the consistency enough to do well in all of these competitions with all of these new games? Number 1. And then number 2, how much does this come down to Pirates itself, man? That maybe we're speaking about all these external things, and the Pirates just needs to get their mind right and they can go and win everything.
Puti, shame. It's all about consistency if we really think about it. Because last season, we lost against Cape Town Spurs, in Cape Town on a random day. A game in which, a lot of people, thought we were going to win comfortably. And we fielded a strong team. And we lost. We lost. They were the better team on the day. We lost against Supersport when we thought, okay, it's going to be a tough game, but with a bit of rotation, how we're going to beat them. We lost 3-1. They beat us comfortably, fair and square. So, I don't know. I really don't know what's the issue with Pirates. And I think it's not just been a thing that all of a sudden when Jose Rivero comes, it's a thing. It's been a thing. It's been an issue for a long time. We will play on a random Tuesday or Wednesday against, I don't know, let me think. Jomo Cosmos, for example, thinking we'll beat them comfortably. Can't we get slapped 2-0? We will play against Malufi FET College and get slapped 4-1. It still haunts me till this day. I'm not gonna lie, it still haunts me till this day. But I think to answer your first question, Buti, it is consistency. I think people are going to say it's the squad, some of the players are not ready. I don't think that. I think it's just the players. If you notice from the documentary that we watched a couple of weeks ago, you notice some of the players, almost think that they've won the game even before they play it. If it's a derby, they're focused, they're ready. But if it's a small, and not to disrespect the other teams, but if it's a game against, I don't know, Sekhukhune United, they won't take it as serious because they'll think, our quality will take over. Tito will do Tito things. Mofokeng will do Mofokeng things. I'll be fine. So I think it's just taking our opponents seriously, every single opponent. And that's the one thing that I think will get us to the league is when we take every single opponent seriously. For example, we thought we were going to beat Stellenbosch at home comfortably. Kanti, when we relax, when we calm down, they come back at us after halftime and they beat us 3-2. So it's about consistency. And, to answer your second question, Puti, I feel like the team, it is an internal issue, I think, in terms of just the players, just adapting to the fact that now they're being recognized as a big players now. Last season we could, let them get away with it, because, they come to a big club, they're not recognized. Now, this season, they are the most feared in the league. I think Sundowns fans will also say that Pirates are a massive problem. Massive problem. So we just need to take these other teams seriously. For example, we thought we're not gonna take these guys seriously on the weekend. Kanti, they would say, no, okay, fine, we'll get a 0-0 from you guys, no problem, if you don't take us serious. So it's just not underestimating our opponents, but overall just using our quality and not being arrogant about it.
How long does Jose have to bring something big home?
If he doesn't win anything this season, let's just say he doesn't win anything. Let's just say clean, like nothing, no trophies. He'll be under the microscope. He'll be under the microscope to basically say, okay, you didn't win anything this season. Next season, if it's the same thing, he's gone. The next season, so for me, he has to win the league and the Nedbank Cup and the MTN 8, but I think for me, the one thing I want is for us to win the league and get into the semifinals of the CAF Champions League. I don't want Pirates fans, to be like, we first need to qualify. Qualifying is basically the minimum thing right now. That should be basic. considering the quality we have. So I think Buti is just winning the league. That's the number thing I want. Number one thing I want. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of watching the Bundesliga 2.0 from every single season now. I've been complaining for now, but come on, Pirates, man. Just be a Bayer Leverkusen for once, Joe. Just be a Bayer Leverkusen. I'm not saying go invincible, but just win the league, man. Because honestly, we do have the quality to beat Sundowns. And we have to be mindful that Chiefs, we don't know what to expect from Chiefs. They could come good. I really hope they do bad. I really hope they stay out of the top 8.
Leave us out of it. We're out of office, Junior. We're out of office, man. You guys are stressed right now. We are not stressed. We are at home. We're watching our translators at practice. We don't do anything else.
No. Sure, Puti. But yeah, but one more point before I finish, Puti.
Okay.
I'm very happy with the transfer window that we've had, Shane. I'm not gonna lie. We have depth. And I think that's the big thing. And it's not just depth where it's like, oh no, he can just take over the position. No, it's quality depth, like quality, same type of quality. If Monian is not doing well, Libito's there. If Libito's not doing well, sure, no problem. There's Van Rooyen. If Da's not playing well, sharp, there's Koki. If Koki's not playing well, there's CBC. If CBC's not playing well, there's Sisani. Like, we have depth now, and I think that's the one thing that us Pirates fans wanted was squad depth, and depth that, for us, just if you're not playing well, you get subbed immediately. When was the last time you heard Libasa? Honestly, when was the last time you heard from him? At the start of the last season, he was fighting and he was happy. He got an injury.
Yes.
And then he got an injury, and then the coach tried to get him back in the squad, and then he wasn't performing. And then afterwards, he's like, nope, I don't trust you anymore. You're not playing well. So I think that's the harsh thing that I like about Jose Rivero, is that if you don't play well, you're on the bench. I don't compromise. He doesn't compromise. So I'm really looking forward to the season. I really want the league, and I want Chiefs to finish 9th.
Mara, why do you have to bring us in? Leave us alone, guys. Leave us alone. Let me go to Agent. Hey, Mara. Agent, how much of this is the Pirates' problem? That they need to find their own consistency, they need to show up for their own games. If they want to win the league, if they want to do well in the CAF Champions League, these are the type of games that they need to do well in, for lack of a better term. And then, number 2, I guess I'm going to ask you, how long does Jose have, in your eyes, as an external party watching this, how long does Jose have to bring home one of the big ones? I'm an agent, is not here. Okay, let me go to Sipo. Sipo, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, OT.
Prasipo, same 2 questions. How much of this is up to Pirates, man? Finding their consistency, playing well in small games for the season. How much does this come down to that, especially in the CAF Champions League? And then number 2, how long do you think Jose has before, not bringing home the big one becomes an issue?
OT, truly speaking, on the first question, I think if you don't constantly win games, you are not going to constantly win anything, especially when it comes to a league. A league, so the more points you get, the more you become a champion. So Pirate needs to fix that matter of consistency as early as possible, because last season we were so inconsistent, and then now this season we have just shown with our 0-0 draw that when we become the best team, when we play Sundowns, go play Sikukune, we don't become the very same team that plays Sundowns. It's like 2 different teams. So we need to find that consistency to win. And on the second question, I think the coach, if he wins M10-8 and Nedbank again, I think he will keep his job.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a coach who knows how to win cups. So maybe he can use his strategy to go further in CAF. But I think if he doesn't win anything, then he will be fired. That one can be sure of it. Pirates and Chiefs, you don't go empty-handed the whole season and remain in your job.
Yeah.
There is no way.
Okay.
So as a Pirates fan, I want the league. Like Junior was saying, no, we tired of Sundowns winning the league. At least let's challenge Sundowns. Let Sundowns win the league in the last 3 games or 4 games.
Mara kept 23 points,
before. Win the league
Prasipo.
in February.
Mara kept 23 points.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not number 2. It's big. That's why it's not like you are number 2 anyway. It's not like you are number 2. That's why I'm still saying we need Chiefs and Pirates to pull up their socks to challenge Sundowns so that at least we can say, even if Sundowns wins the league, for me, it's not a problem. As long as Sundowns will win the league in the last 3 games or 2 games, unlike what I've been seeing the past 3 seasons, where they will just win the league in February. Imagine having the torture of watching the league from March until May, knowing who is the champion. It has become a farmers league. So, on that note, I think the coach must deliver the league title. I'm not worried much about the CAF Champions League because I know it's a difficult tournament.
Yeah.
My point is on winning the league. If this season I lose M10-8, I lose Nedbank Cup and win the league, I will be satisfied. Winning the M10-8 and winning the Nedbank Cup is the same thing as last season. And we don't want number 2. We are tired of being the bridesmaids. We must be tired. So I'm giving him this season. He must win the league. Yes.
Let me go back to Agent. Agent, are you with me, my brother? I hope we're not causing any fights at home or anything like that.
I know. I think I told you nowadays I have to cook for myself.
Hey, yeah.
I was still doing things.
No, I hear you. 2 questions, Agent. The Pirates have its own issues. They play down a lot of the time. They don't have a consistency. You know, we've spoken about the external pressures and external things. How much of this just lies with Pirates just fixing themselves? And can they fix themselves? And then number 2, how long does Jose have to bring a big one home?
Let me start with the second one. A wise man once said, give me 4 years. I just need 4 years. 4 years. 4 years.
1 month later.
No, but I think for me personally, maybe it's different because maybe the league doesn't excite me anymore. It happens, you know. But for me, I believe that even if this season, like I said, for me, I believe in what I call progression. If I can see progression that like the guys are saying, even if Sundowns can win by 15 points, I would say that's better, or 10 points, you know. But it would be better if it could be a single digit win, you know, like, okay, they won with 9 points, you know, because I still believe Sundowns will win the league. But for me, I think I would give Jose next season for him to win the league. If he doesn't win the league, I'm like, I think even him, he's a prideful person. I think he'll say, guys, I've tried my best, I've given you cups, I think I have to go somewhere for a new challenge, you know. So I think for me, I see him maybe even this season. I think even if this season, I don't think Jose falls in the category of people who will be fired at Pirates, you know, unless something drastic happens. I think he's the kind of person who would say, guys, I want to resign, you know, I've served my plan, you know, I've given it cups, but I think you guys need someone who can take you to the next level, you know. So yeah, I think for me personally, I would give him an extra season for him to bring the league in, you know. But again, I think also you have to look at the fact that Sundowns are not going to have a proper preseason, you know. So next season, so that is a chance that early on, while they're still tired or they're still going on, there's a chance to grab, you know, an opportunity to win the league, you know. And there's an old saying that what a wise man or what a young man sees on top of the tree, an old man sees while sitting down. We all laughed at Dr. Kaizer of saying it has to take Sundowns to go down as opposed to teams going to that kind of level for some kind of change in terms of winning the league, you know. And I think he was right in the sense that something has to happen, you know, for Sundowns to lose the league, you know. And it's an unfair thing at times, you know, that we want to measure. Yes, Pirates is a bigger club than Sundowns in terms of cups and history and whatever, you know, but at this moment in time, the gap between the teams, not in terms of quality, but in terms of everything else combined, is a bit huge, you know. So I think something has to happen at Sundowns for Paris to win the league, to be fair and honest with you, you know. That could be this season with Mangobanes, or it could be next season without a proper pre-season, you know. But to your first question, I think maybe it goes back to Jose. I think maybe sometimes he does give an arrogant persona, but I think he's too quiet for his own good at times, you know. I think sometimes as Pirates players need someone who can be a bit, you know, on them, you know, so that they can wake up, because I feel like it's a case of sleeping more than anything. Like I said, if you look at the game, those chances that they got, if they play in Sundowns, they were going to punish Sundowns, you know, but they were just shooting. It was like a target practice for them, you know, shoot on sight. You know, do it again, you know. So I think for me, it has to come from maybe the coach being a bit, you know, or maybe Manza stepping up and being a bit harsh on the boys. And then, I think it could turn up, you know, because for me, I don't want to believe Pirates, yes, it's not like Chiefs, but I believe Pirates, wherever they go, at least half the stadium has to be full with Pirates fans, you know? So I don't think they're always home away from home. So I don't think the crowd is such a thing for them. I think for me, it's just a mentality issue, you know, and maybe that's where we believe we bring in people like psychologists and stuff like that to say, guys, what's wrong with you when you are away, you know, because I don't think it's the crowds, because they're always going to have the crowds behind them. So I don't know,
Okay. Malome Kutso, internally, man, how do you fix some of the issues that Pirates has fixable? Can they be fixed? Jose has been with the club for 2 years now. Is his third year the time when they get it right? And how much does that affect the season that you guys are going to have going forward?
By the way, Mr. Oti, the CAF final that we played was in 2022. Which is 2 years back, when Coach Mandla, who is still with the technical team, was at the helm. So if we're asking for experience, we have that in abundance. That rhymes. And by the way, for those who say we are not motivated when we play against small teams, look at what we do when we play Sundowns. Do you not call that motivation? We are beating that small team. We are low. A small team knows that when they play Orlando Pirates, they will definitely be beaten, which is what we do to Sundowns. But anyway, Mr. Oti, speaking of other small teams, somehow these other small teams tend to creep up on us, Mr. Oti. But if we actually look at the table, the fact that we finished second means we've actually beaten most of these small teams. You understand? It's just how you look at it, half empty, half full. Real Madrid yesterday drew with Mallorca. Real Madrid, the biggest team, yesterday drew with Mallorca. And we spoke of experience, Mr. Oti, when agent was talking of in North Africa, winning back-to-back Champions League titles. I think it goes back, it ties nicely in with Kanaking. It ties nicely with the conversation we were having with Grupo. That there's a causal relationship, which is why Man City, which agent somehow neglected to mention that Man City is also a small team, but today they stand with the Champions League, just like Sundowns, a small team that has a Champions League title. That's from money. Money is important, Mr. Oti. It's not the experience. And if anyone wants to say, but PSG also has money, but PSG does not have money as Man City is spending. The spending of Man City was far more than PSG. So it's not only about your money, it's also about other people's money at that time. You understand? Which is why PSG, people will say PSG bought Messi. They even got Messi on a free transfer. Imagine, the best player in the world on a free transfer. So you can't say they're really spending money, Mr. Oti. Imali is important to winning titles. which is why we see Ahly dominate back to back. And another thing is that somehow North Africa seems to have more finances amongst them. So Ahly will only travel to play Sundowns, and the rest of their opponents will probably be around their region. And if that's the case, it means in the same group, Sundowns is traveling to 3 countries. Algeria, I think at some point Pirates was traveling to Algeria and Tunisia in one group, and Nigeria. You understand, Mr. OT? So that is another aspect. It's not only about the experience part, it's about the role of the dice that they've gotten because of their money. And because of the region's money, the region's ability to spend. That is the main reason. In you, Mr. OT. Talent-wise, Pirates always cracks in, and I repeat, the last team in this country to play a CAF final is Orlando Pirates. Not those ones with experience, a feeling, having coaches pleading just before a game, please don't fire me, please don't fire me. I say, Pirates, we actually have we demoted a coach who went to a final. He sits there as our assistant coach. So I believe a coach like Mandla Niggas with his experience in the CAF final can definitely assist us, Mr. Uti. A coach like Jose Rivero with 4 cup titles. In Sundowns, Mr. Oti, I know cup title last season. They went through a drought, just like Chiefs. Sundowns and Chiefs are in the same category. Drought. Who Pirates is the only team with 4 league titles. I'm not. How? Actually, we do have 4 league titles, but Pirates is the only team with 4 trophies in the last 2 seasons. Gumnandi, Mr. OT. So nyaka sithi ayiki consistency kuyabheda in laba bangafuna ama 2 cup titles. You are most welcome to go and support Sundowns, or you're most welcome to support all the other 15 teams. Actually, no one is as successful as Pirates in the last 2 seasons. I mean, I'm happy with Jose Rivero, but all I'm saying is he can do better.
But can I push back on the league consistency though? 23 points is a very big margin. I think it was 16 points the year before to number 2. While yes, you are the most consistent of the rest of the teams, it's not like a close number 2. So can Pirates find that and do well in CAF and do well in the cups that they've won and do well in the league when,
Mr. OT,
you know?
Mr. OT, 7 times 3.
21.
21. 7 games in a row last season. Beswabukele. 7 games in a row. Peter Shalule benefiting. Swallows benefiting. Maybe Pirates should also start benefiting in the league. Then we can challenge. Yeah, maybe whatever they say. We saw those 21 points. Those 21 points are from benefits. And by benefit, I'm not saying they bought it. I'm saying they benefited from the referee's mistakes. And every week, every day. Let's not pretend as if Sundowns was superior. They were boring and robbing. Back to back.
But then still, Malube Kuto, the previous season it was 16. The previous season it was what? What is it? Let me just check. But it's still a large margin. So I think my question comes down to, if you need to then go up against that team that's robbing, are you able to, in yourselves, win the other 7 games? Are you able to take, I think it was 14 wins last year that you guys had, with 8 draws and 8 losses. Are you able to turn that 7 losses into 7 wins so that you can go win? I think that's the big question I'm asking. Never mind the Sundowns, even if they carry on doing whatever they're doing.
Even if they carry on doing, I like how you put that.
No. It is what it is. If that's how they win, that's how they win. Now it's up to Pirates to go and win 7 more games. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying yes or no to whether they've done it or not. I don't know.
It's a benefit to a referee's mistake. But anyway, I am saying last season, we did not. How many points? We said 24, 22?
23 points.
We lost the league by 2 points, not 23 points. Those 21 points do not belong to them. However, so I'm seeing it as an improvement from the side of Orlando Pirates. Yes, one can say, when you look at it, it looks like 22. But mina, Mr. Uti, yeah, vume. I was watching the league every day, but benefita every day, Mr. Uti. You understand, Mr. And we had to do something about it. That's why I see about clap Nedbank, sabat clap na king. What's that cup? What's that other cup where we beat them? Where they literally fighting the ref for the right decisions. Literally the right decisions. They are fighting against them, which is why, like, how do you fight? How do we show you the law that that is not a penalty? And you say house ropile. That is how they are used to benefiting these fans. Someone they can see the truth, but because the referee made the right call, Abongile Tom today, a hero of the nation, a protector of the football integrity of football, is accused of hook robber. Abongile Tom has brought integrity to South African football where none existed. Abongile Tom has managed to see. You know what, Mr. OT? We always credit Abongile Tom for Amatisina Winzil, but we never talk about the important one. That box of matches. That box of matches was carrying goals for Peter Shalulile. Abongile Tom white hopper. I saw Shalulile screaming. No, Mr. Oti, Shalulile mega screamer. Abongile Tom mega hopper. But anyway, Mr. Oti, our Chris Batung, our Chris, calm down. But anyway, Mr. Oti, all I'm saying is there is in a sense of a Kaizen where you improve from yesterday. Orlando Pirates has improved from where they were. Maybe Sundowns has done even better than themselves in terms of the league, but the Orlando Pirates, from a team that had gone through a drought before Jose Rivero got there, even though we went to a final, we can see there's an improvement with 4 trophies in the short space of time. I want to apologize to Chris for making him swear like that. I do not believe that his family raised him to speak like that to strangers. There is no way that Chris's father would approve of such behavior, or his mother. Chris, I apologize for leading you into sin, and I apologize to your entire family for leading you to behave like this. I know about Chilolo do not approve of such behavior. Thank you, Mr. Oti.
Thank you, guys. I have to speed through this because Lindo's show is starting at 9. So Lindo's going to be coming on Lindo Pep. So I don't want to chow into his time. Let me go to Zeche. Zeche, I'm throwing you into the deepest of deep ends over here. You're going into the deepest of deep ends. I'm just going to ask you the 2 questions. And unfortunately, you're going to have to be a little bit quick. How much of this does Pirates have to fix of themselves before they can go out and do all of these big things and find that consistency? And then how long does Jose have? Oh, Zeche. Okay, this is what I'll do. Zeche is not in. Zeche, you must come back, man. Zeche, you must come back. Okay, I'm going to close it off like this. For me, I'm not necessarily the type of person who tries to look at like the other things in terms of like, teams are doing this and refs. Guys, I don't like speaking too much about that because we've all been gotten. But what I want from Orlando Pirates, like I said, I would love Orlando Pirates to go from the most scariest inconsistent team to the most consistent, scariest team. I think for me, it's not about talent. It's not about the lack of talent and all of the things that we've been speaking about. I think, honestly, Pirates needs to find it in them to get up for more games than just the ones where, there's high stakes. Even this game, you get the sense that Orlando Pirates give themselves a draw, and then second leg they'll be on fire merely because now they've created a situation where there's stakes in the game. And I think once Pirates gets past those type of things and says, okay, guys, a Tuesday game versus Richards Bay is as important as a Saturday game versus Sundowns. It's as important as some of the big games in the Champions League. It's as important because the one thing that's going to happen next season, should Pirates do well in all of these things, and we hope they do well in all of these trophies and tournaments, the one thing that's going to happen is, guys, you're going to have to land on Friday having played I don't know, a very important crunch game in the league. Then on Tuesday, you have to go face, I don't know, Ahly. Then the next day is another thing, next 3 days, the next 3 days, next 3 days. Even the ones that we say were the best performing team in the country, mamelodi Sundowns, they had to face the same issues. They got caught out. Rulani was complaining about fatigue and mental what, and I don't have enough time to sit down with my team and coach them, and I don't have all that. So for me, a realistic question is, if Jose Rivero had struggled at times in the league, has struggled at times to get his team on par for most of the time, right? To be able to play full on out for 30 games, right? What's going to happen when you have all of these other things that are playing into what Pirates does? When you have to ask Undlo to come off the bench and be a starter for a game because Utito's tired or whoever team is tired, right? And we know what Ndlondlo, you know, he's very lackadaisical when he's on the pitch. So what's going to happen when you have to call on those players and have them play? If you well and truly want to chase Sundowns, however they got to that. No, super. Jose hasn't been through that. A lot of you guys haven't been through the whole season where you have to go win the league on top of the Champions League, on top of playing this, on top of playing that, on top of winning 2 trophies, on top of you haven't had that. Let's be honest. That's why I'm asking you guys, because for me, it sounds like y'all are saying that the CAF Champions League is in play, the league is in play, the MTN8, the Nedbank Cup with the curling knockout, the what was is in play. You have not had that type of season, well and truly. That's why I was using examples that Chiefs, as much as we say Chiefs got to a final and all of that, Chiefs could prioritize the CAF Champions League because we did nothing else in the other trophies than in the league. I think we were 10th at the end of the league or something like that, or 8th, right? So we had done nothing. Mamelodi Sundowns loses 2 finals versus Pirates, gets knocked out of the calling knockout earlier. They get a month off because they're playing AFL. And that's how they get to the semi-final of the CAF Champions League. So now they've learned over the years how to do things. Those ugly 1-0 wins we speak about, those lucky wins where the ref, what. Oksalayo, they went through those things and they won them. They've got that experience of every 3 days there's a game. They've got that experience of playing in December, coming back early, playing later in December, coming back early during the whatever, having players go to bafana, then have to come back. All of those things count. So I don't want to just chalk it up and say, yeah, Pirates got to a final in Confed. What is the context of that final? Where were you in the league? Where were you in the Cups? Did you win any other trophies? Did you do anything else? And not in a disrespectful way. I'm literally just saying realistically, it's going to be a very taxing season. Same way I say about Sundowns. Realistically, for Mangoba, it's going to be a hectic season for him as a team that has already done this a few times, or done similar things a few times. Nah, but they might be facing an expanded AFL on top of a Club World Cup, on top of this, on top of that. But we're having a conversation about the Pirates right now. You get me? So again, it's not that it's impossible. I don't want to make it seem like it's impossible for them to do. I'm just saying that if you look at the pattern, 16 points between you and Sundowns 2 years ago, 23 points between you and Sundowns this season. You didn't have a Champions League. You won your 2 trophies. Incredible. You get what I mean? 14 wins from the 30. Same as Stellenbosch. You've got the same record as Stellenbosch, for example. How then do you go from that and say, yeah, we're going to win the league and this and that and that and on top of that? And then on the other side of the coin, just to close off, you have the same situation with Jose. 3 seasons in, you've got 4 trophies. Incredible. Nobody has 4 trophies after 2 years. But after now, you're 3 years in. At what point do you look at Jose and say, okay, Jose, as in Champions League, we can't blame you for the first year. We can blame you for the second year. What about the third year? What's going to happen in the third year? Because that means if you qualify now for the group stages and we say, it's okay, that means it's a fourth and a fifth year maybe. It's what I complain about with Arteta, for example, at Arsenal. But anyway, guys, time's sake, I've been killed by time. Every Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. the show is on. If you want to watch any episode back, if you came in late or you just want to see what type of conversations we've had, they are available in full. I've got a video that I put out on YouTube today speaking about Mamelodi Sundowns, about this season and how this is possibly their most important season in their history. And there's a couple of things that I laid down there that are very interesting outside of just the number of games and expectations. So check that out, guys. It's on my YouTube channel, The Overthinking Football Show. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Follow if you have not followed. I drop content almost daily, so please support your boy. It really does help with a lot of the things and to keep doing this. So we also do watch-alongs for those who don't know. When Chiefs, Pirates or Sundowns are playing, where feasible, we watch the game. Guys, it's been great. Lindo Pep is starting, so please go on over to Lindo's channel and you'll be able to get more of a tactical breakdown. I don't do that much tactical stuff. I have big conversations. He does more tactics, so please head on over there if you want to get some tactical breakdowns. Guys, it's been real. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Yay! Wait, before I go, thanks to Malume Kutso, Van den Nom. Thank you so much, and Mulautsi, thank you so much for the gifts. We have a WhatsApp group. Malume Kutso's in the WhatsApp group, so if you want to kill him, he's over there. Go on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. I'll see you guys there. Incredible conversations. Lindo Pep is also there. Agent is also there. Velil is also there. There's a lot of people there. You've heard them a lot on the show. Incredible people, incredible football conversations we have there with no limits, no time limits, and a whole bunch of other media. Guys, I'll see you. Bye, guys.